People who have lived with a dog for many years often notice something quietly changing over time. There comes a stage when their dog begins sleeping closer to them than before. It rarely happens all at once, and most people don't notice it right away. It usually happens little by little, until one night, you wake up and realize your dog is curled up gently against your back, as if they've been there for hours. And something many dog owners quietly wonder, even if they never say it out loud, is why this change seems to happen at that particular time. It's usually not because dogs suddenly become more clingy, and it's rarely because something is wrong. More often, the place a dog chooses to sleep says a lot about how safe they feel, how deeply they trust their owner, and sometimes, how their world is slowly changing as they grow older. Many people who have lived with a dog for many years begin to notice a very quiet change over time. When dogs are younger, they often choose to sleep in the corner of the room, at the foot of the bed, or in a familiar spot they consider their own. But as they grow older, that distance slowly begins to shrink. It is rarely a sudden change that happens overnight. More often, it unfolds so gradually that it almost goes unnoticed. One evening, your dog sleeps a little closer to the foot of the bed than usual. Another night, they settle near the edge of the mattress. And then, at some point, they begin sleeping right beside you, as if that place had always belonged to them. You usually don't realize when the change truly began. It often takes a quiet moment in the middle of the night, when you turn over and suddenly notice they have been lying there for hours. Many people assume this happens because dogs become more clingy as they age, or they worry it could mean something is wrong. But in many cases, the change has more to do with how dogs experience the world as they grow older. Hearing can slowly fade. Eyesight may become less sharp. Navigating spaces in the dark can feel more uncertain than it once did. As these senses begin to soften, dogs often rely more on familiar presence to feel safe. The warmth of your body, your scent, and the rhythm of your breathing become quiet signals that help them understand that everything around them is still stable. Sometimes, even the faint sound of you shifting in your sleep is enough to reassure them. For dogs, sleeping closer to their owner is not just physical comfort. It often feels like returning to the safest center of their world, a place where they can listen to the familiar sound of your breathing and settle more deeply into rest. When a dog slowly chooses to sleep closer over the years, it usually reflects a level of trust that has been built across an entire lifetime together. Many owners only recognize the meaning of this moment when they accidentally wake during the night and feel the gentle warmth of their dog resting against their back. It feels incredibly small, almost easy to dismiss, yet it often carries far more meaning than people realize. The moment passes quickly, and years later, it can become one of the warmest memories they hold on to. For many owners, this is often the first quiet sign they notice before recognizing other subtle changes that begin to appear. And for many dogs, this shift rarely happens all at once. It is usually the beginning of a very quiet process, where the way they search for safety slowly begins to change. Some dogs develop a quiet habit of checking on their owner before settling down to sleep. They may walk closer to the bed, watch you for a few seconds, or gently touch you before returning to their sleeping spot. Many people don't even realize this is a meaningful behavior. They simply remember that, once in a while, they opened their eyes in the dark and saw their dog standing there, watching them for a few seconds before quietly walking away. This behavior is deeply connected to a dog's survival instincts. In the wild, animals that live in packs often check the position of important members before resting. It helps them understand whether the environment around them is safe enough to relax. When dogs do this at home, they are not only confirming safety, they are also expressing a strong social bond with the person they live with. In a dog's mind, their owner often becomes the most stable center of their world. But this connection does not always appear through movement or obvious actions. Sometimes, it reveals itself through even smaller behaviors, almost unconscious ones. Some dogs develop a quiet habit of gently touching their owner while they sleep. It may be as simple as resting a paw on your hand or leaning their head against your body. Physical contact helps dogs regulate their emotions and maintain a sense of safety. It is one of the ways many social animals stay connected within their group. For dogs, touch is not always an invitation to be petted or comforted. Sometimes, it is simply a quiet way to make sure you are still there. Many owners only notice this when they wake up and realize they have barely moved because a small paw has been resting on them for most of the night. When this kind of contact begins to happen more often, it can slowly lead to a bigger change in how dogs choose where they sleep. Many dogs spend years sleeping on the floor or inside their own bed, but over time, some of them slowly begin trying to climb onto the bed to sleep beside their owner. Some people believe this happens because the dog has been spoiled or because they simply want to take up more space. But as dogs grow older, their bodies begin to change in quiet ways. It can become harder for them to regulate body temperature. Hard surfaces may place more pressure on their joints and muscles. Soft and warm spaces can bring physical comfort that helps them rest more deeply. An owner's bed often offers more than warmth. It carries familiar scent, steady presence, and a sense of emotional safety that many dogs naturally seek as they age. Moving from sleeping alone to sleeping beside their owner is often a sign that a dog is searching for more stability and emotional reassurance than before. Many owners never say this out loud, but the moment their dog begins sleeping beside them often becomes the moment they quietly realize how much time has already passed. This is often the stage when owners begin to feel, more clearly than before, that their dog is no longer young. And once a dog chooses to sleep close beside you, they often begin to show other small, almost unnoticeable changes throughout the night. Some dogs slowly begin to fall asleep and wake up following their owner's daily rhythm. They settle down when you go to bed, and often wake at nearly the same time you do. Dogs have a natural ability to synchronize their biological rhythms with the people they live with. This behavior helps strengthen social bonding and can reduce stress over time. When a dog begins sleeping and waking in patterns that mirror yours, it is rarely a coincidence. In their world, you gradually become the most familiar rhythm in their life. Your schedule, your movements, even the quiet routines of your day become signals that shape their own sense of time and comfort. But as dogs grow older, the way they respond to their owner's sleep can begin to change. Sometimes, they become more sensitive to even the smallest movements during the night. Older dogs often become lighter sleepers as time goes on. Many owners begin to notice this during the quiet hours of the night, when they shift their position just slightly and suddenly see their dog open their eyes, sometimes lifting their head to watch for a few seconds before slowly settling back to sleep. As dogs age, their sleep naturally becomes lighter. Changes in the nervous system, along with shifts in how they experience safety, can make it harder for them to stay deeply asleep for long periods of time. Because of this, many older dogs begin searching for sleeping spots that feel more protective and reassuring. And for many of them, that place slowly becomes somewhere closer to their owner, almost as if it is the only place where they can feel completely at ease. Some dogs choose to sleep facing their owner, even when other positions might seem more comfortable. Many people assume this is simply a random sleeping posture, but sleeping while facing their owner allows dogs to notice movement and respond to subtle sounds more easily. This is a behavior commonly seen in animals that live in social groups, where staying aware of important members helps maintain a sense of safety. It can also be a quiet sign that a dog wants to stay connected even while resting. For many dogs, being able to see or simply sense that their owner is nearby helps them relax more deeply. Moments like these often pass very quickly and can feel almost unnoticeable at the time. Yet for many owners, they later become some of the most meaningful memories when looking back on the years spent together. And beyond sleeping position, the way dogs respond when their owner leaves the bed can quietly reveal even more about how they feel. Some dogs will quietly follow their owner into the sleeping area and only settle down once their owner has fully gotten comfortable. This behavior is connected to protective instincts and the natural tendency to maintain social structure within a group. For dogs, resting near important members of their social circle can create a stronger sense of stability and awareness. It can also reflect a deep emotional attachment. In their own way, some dogs seem to feel a quiet sense of responsibility to remain close during moments of rest and vulnerability. But there is an even more subtle shift, one that many owners only begin to notice after it has happened again and again over time. Some dogs begin seeking physical contact more often during sleep. They may press closer, rest a paw against you, or lean their body gently against yours throughout the night. Physical contact can help reduce stress hormones and support emotional stability. For many dogs, touch becomes a quiet reassurance that their environment is still safe and familiar. And when all of these small changes begin to appear together, they often carry a much deeper meaning than they seem on the surface. When many owners look back, they begin to notice something that changed quietly over the years they spent with their dog. It is often not something they realize in the moment, but something they discover later while looking through old photos. Photos where their dog once slept in a distant corner of the room, and then slowly, almost without anyone noticing, began appearing closer during different stages of life. Some people believe this is simply a normal behavioral change that comes with age. Many owners assume it is just a small habit forming over time, until they begin to sense that it carries a deeper meaning. As dogs grow older, the way they experience the world begins to shift. Their senses, comfort patterns, and emotional security gradually change, often leading them to rely more on familiar sources of safety. For many dogs, sleeping closer to their owner becomes a way to reconnect with stability in a world that may feel less predictable than before. It is not only about dependence, it often reflects a level of trust and emotional bonding that has been built quietly through years of shared routines, shared spaces, and shared life moments. These changes are usually so subtle that they are easy to overlook while they are happening. But for many dog owners, they later become deeply meaningful memories when they reflect on the journey they shared with their companion. Understanding these quiet signals does more than help us care for our pets in a better way. It also reminds us to cherish the peaceful moments when they are still resting beside us. Because sometimes, the quietest moments are the ones we carry with us the longest.